Hi, I'm Bebe, and this is a non-standard knitting podcast today. So I've decided I need to steek my Marie Wallin Seaton, and so I thought I'd film it. I just want to start by saying I am not a steeking expert. I have done one steek before, and it was with guidance. So this is not a how-to video. This is probably more like a how to do it really poorly video. But I actually just wanted to film for myself, and because people might be interested in how an amateur does such things, so you can actually see what happens. So this is the jumper. This is the Seaton by Marie Wallin. Let me just show you. That's what it looks like. And so I've knit the whole thing up to the armholes at the top of the shoulder, and I have seamed the top of the shoulder, the tops of the shoulders after finishing it off, and you can see here no armhole. So no armhole because there is actually now a steek there. So I need to cut the steek along here. So when I was seaming up the arms, I made sure I knew which of the stitches was the steek, so I marked each of the steek stitches on the side. It's a 7 stitch steek across there, and that's the first and the last of the steek columns. So I made sure I didn't include them in the seaming that I did. So that was the first thing. I'm a big fan of using stitch markers to do stuff. And then, so these are the same ones, but at the other end. So they're the number 1 and number 7. And I've actually got started on it because it's really fiddly getting this first little bit. But basically what you do is you come in through the very bottom of the steek, through there, and pick up the stitch and pull it through, and then I won't do it because it's really fiddly to get it, and you just pop it out, up and out, and then you start your crochet to do the crochet reinforcing. One of the things that I remember from last time I did it is you're always crocheting so that the crochet is on the right hand side, because it should be leaning outwards away from your stitch that you're going to cut. So I'm going to go up the steek this way, and then when I do the other side I'll come down the other side, so that each time I'm always on the right hand side of the steek stitch that I'm cutting. And counting along, I've marked out the third column, just so I'm really clear about which one I'm going into as I get started, just for the first few, and then once I'm started I'll kind of know where I am. So this is number 1, number 2, number 3, and then that's number 4 there. And so I'm going to be cutting that's column number 3, and I'm going to be cutting in here. And so I'm going to reinforce up here and then reinforce back down. So let me just put my crochet hook in here. And what I'm doing is I'm catching one leg of the third column and one leg of the fourth column, which is what I'm going to be cutting into. So I'm going to cut along in between that stitch and that stitch. So I have to catch that one. So I just go boom, and just go all the way up here, reinforcing these. I don't know how this actually works. Like, it seems like complete magic to me, but apparently it does. Yeah, I mean, once I'm finished, I'm actually thinking I might also sew it. I'm going to give it a go, but if I get concerned about it, I'm going to sew it before I do the... I mean, I'll cut it, I'll test it, but I might also then come back and sew it if I have any concerns. I'm more concerned about my actual knitting, that I've done something wrong, than I am about that steeks don't work, because I'm assured by multiple people that steeks do work, and people have been doing it for centuries and it'll be fine, but I just don't have a lot of faith in my own ability to do these things correctly, but we will see. You can see it is a little bit fiddly. This is Aran weight yarn. I'm on a 3.5 mil crochet hook, so it's a lot of fairly thick wool that I'm trying to get through here, but you can see I'm now creating a reinforced column of crochet stitches along there, and I can see also that it's creating the reinforcing on the other side. I mean, I can kind of see how that works now that I'm actually looking at it. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to continue up and then get to the top and come back the other side, and then I'll come back to you and show you how it's looking. Okay, I'm back. So I've done most of the steeking, and I'm just gonna, most of the crochet, I'm just gonna finish that up now. So just finishing off the second column, and then I'll show you what I've done. I need to remind you that this is not a how-to video. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just actually following instructions that were in the book that Marie Wallin told me what to do. But here we go. So I've now crocheted, I went down one side. Oh, where did I go? I went down one side and then back up the other. So I'm now back at the top of the garment, and I've checked as I've gone that I've made sure I've picked up every single stitch. And these stitches are so large, it's really easy to see them. So I can see my crochet column has picked up every stitch along the way on both sides, and it's really clear where it is. So that's it all the way along there. And then what I can also see here is that, so you've got the crochet columns on either side, and then the other stitches, and then in between those stitches, that's where I'm going to be cutting when I get there. So that's the next step, is just to chop this thing up. I fully intend that this is going to unravel, but I am assured that it won't. So let's see what happens next. So the next step is for me to just take a pair of scissors to it and see what happens. So I'll report back when I'm up to that part. Okay, so now we're at the hard bit, which is actually taking out the old scissors and chopping this thing up. I feel slightly sick, but I'm just gonna crack on and do it because apparently it's gonna be fine. Now, I guess the thing I'm gonna be careful of is that I don't accidentally cut in either side of the vertical stitches. So you can see the ladder, so-called ladder, that's what Marie Wallin calls it, up the middle, and I've just got to be careful just to snip those. I'm really worried about these ones here, but I think they're going to be fine. I just need to do it. Ugh. Here we go. So I've got nice sharp scissors, but I'm just going to do it really carefully. So here we go. Just a little bit, and then we'll stop and see how that's actually coming. Just like I say, being really careful not to cut any of the rows of stitches or the crochet. Okay, let's stop and see how that looks now, because honestly I'm sweating at the moment. Nothing's fallen apart. That looks a bit off, but it's holding together. I'd probably just sew all of that down, but yeah, okay. You can see there. It survived and nothing went badly. So I'm just going to finish, I'll finish cutting this one and do the other side, and then I'll come back once they're finished and show you the finished product. All right, steeking is finished. So now I have 2 armholes. So the next step is really just to pick up the stitches and finish the arms now, I guess. One of the things that I was worried about was when you pick up the stitches to do the arm, you need to be careful not to pick up those bars. You have to pick up the column, not the row. Otherwise it will pull on that stitch. But I think there's instructions in the pattern for picking up the stitches to do the arms. The other thing I'll just note is that Marie Wallin, when she shows how to do it in the pattern, she has, just be on the right side here, so say this was the steek here, she has the crochet hook coming in from this direction, so she goes from like that, and then the steek ends up on this side of the column, on the inside. Whereas I found that quite difficult, and maybe it's because I'm right-handed, I don't know, but I actually picked it up in the other direction. So my crochet column ended up on the outside of my crochet rather than on the inside of my crochet along there. And I did start doing it the way Marie suggested, and I found it really quite awkward. So I had a look at a few different videos, kind of how-to videos, and they were doing it the other way as well. So I kind of figured the way I was doing it, which is to put the hook in from right to left across the stitches, the right leg and then the left leg, rather than the left leg and then the right leg. They seem to do that fine, and nothing's fallen apart, so I assume it's okay. I guess the only difference it makes is that the crochet edge is on the left hand side of the stitches rather than on the right hand side of the stitches, which I guess is okay. I don't know. We will see once I put it all together and see what happens, but I think it's okay. But so that's just a note if you're wondering why you saw me doing it that way. Anyway, I'm glad that this is over. I'm glad that I've finally done my steek, because it has held me up. The fear around cutting up my knitting, which was, hard to knit, was stopped me from getting on with finishing this. So I feel like I can now pick up the arms and get this thing finished. So hopefully, maybe not the next pod, but the one after, I'll have this completely finished, ready for winter, which is for us in about 3 months' time. Anyway, catch you in the next one. Ka kite.